Lots of you will be watching us at the moment from your kitchen or your living room, perhaps, because you're working from home. But for most, doing their job from home just isn't an option. So should the privileged few who can be paid less to do so? The government's recommended employees make a gradual return to offices, but one senior minister said that civil service servants who refuse to go in should have their pay cut. Do you agree with that, Jane?
Well, it's complex because not one policy fits all here. So I think that if you can work from home and if it's beneficial to your company so that they don't have to pay for a big office and they've found it better that everybody can work from home and they haven't got the overheads and that's fine. But if you work for a company where they want you in the office and you have to do the job there, absolutely you should go back to work. And, you know, unless you have a very, very good reason not to. And just saying, well, I quite like working from home is not a good reason.
Yeah.
Civil service, I think a lot of people watching this will go, well, I've tried to get hold of my local council recently on any number of topics, be bins, parking, planning, whatever, all of these things that we pay council tax for, and they can't get hold of anybody. You know, weeks and weeks they can't get hold of people, and that's not right. And if you're being paid by the taxpayer to do a job for the taxpayer, then you should be at your desk and doing that job properly.
Because, as you say, it's not just the civil servants that have got this issue. A lot of private businesses have got a very similar problem as well. And I know that the company that my friend works for, they've tried taxing them to and from work, and they still don't want to go in. They said they were waiting for the vaccines. They've got their vaccines. They still don't want to go in. And it's got to the point where the business has said, look, either you come into the office or you clearly don't want to do your job anymore, so we will let you go.
The bottom line is they don't want to go in, and that's all it is, and all the rest of it is excuses. And it's like, why should a company pay for the lifestyle choice of that? You know, if you want to stay home and have a lovely time, fine, take up pottery, sell it online, you know, do something where you work from home, but don't expect a small business in particular to pay for your lifestyle choice.
Especially if you've got children at home. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse distraction. I mean, it's impossible. If the kids know you're at home, they're going to be in all the time. I guess what it is, like you were saying, Jen, depending on the job role, a lot of people that are contracted, there are terms and conditions to that contract about where your workplace is. So you can't just decide on a whim, I'm changing where I'm going to work from if that's not in your contract. But at the same time, if people are willing to go in, then the incentive should be that their travel pay is taken care of, that they're not out of pocket, because that is a huge expense for those people that are prepared to go back.
Who's going to pay for that?
Well, the companies. I mean...
the companies are on their knees after this pandemic.
Yeah, but if there's some people that they're happy to stay at home because most of the work is done on email, and others they need in, and it's the same company, it seems a little unfair that one has to pay all that money to come into the office while the others can stay at home. And...
Well, yeah, so in places like London, you get London waiting, for example, because it's a lot more expensive to live and work in London. And I know there are some banks in New York which have basically said if you've moved out of state in order to do your job, then we will cut your wage because you don't have the expensive travel and, I know, coffees and lunches anymore. But there is something to be said, isn't there, that people have enjoyed being at home, haven't they, Nadia, for some?
I think I kind of agree with everything that you're all saying, but I think also we have to take into account that there has been a reset for a lot of people. And I don't think it's just about people that don't want to work or are lazy or just having a great time at home. I think, you know, I was listening to one of the ministers on the radio this morning who was saying, you know, one of the very important reasons for people coming back into work, even if they can do their job well at home, is to support the infrastructure of the coffee shops, you know, the restaurants. But I think an awful lot of people are thinking, I'm doing my job just as well. And of course, I am talking about people that can do it just as well from home, not somebody that needs to be in an office answering a phone. I'm doing better. My work-life balance is better. I can now afford to pay my mortgage without hanging on by my fingernails because I'm not paying extortionate rates to get on a train that I then have to stand for an hour. So I think that's one thing to consider. I think also we mustn't forget we have been made to feel absolutely terrified for the last 18 months. I know not everybody was, but I certainly have periods of of time over this last 18 months where I felt like I was at war, where I felt like going out of the house was a really scary thing. And some people are left with that feeling. Also, you know, we keep talking about, oh, there's this tsunami of a mental health crisis. That's not just words that we're just throwing around. That is true. Some people will be taking advantage of that, of course. There's always people that take advantage of situations, but I think we have to be mindful that we just don't group everybody into one thing.
And let's not forget the people who, for this conversation, will just be like this because they can't stay at home. You know, the supermarket workers, the drivers, they have to get out there, and if they didn't, the whole country would just stop.
Yeah. So should we be paying them more because they have no choice over the matter? Can you remember how scared everybody was? You know, March, April last year, we were so scared and we did not know what was happening. They they had to leave their houses. Yeah. They had to go to work.
Exactly. They were the people that really broke my heart. They were front line. Yeah. But some people can manage to do their job just as efficiently at home.
But that has to be the decision of the person that's paying them.
Yeah. Shall I move us on? At least when you're working at home, you would know if your partner is up to a bit of naughty business, wouldn't you?